With the pen, I'm learning life. My thirst is divine. Words inspire with perfect time. Nurtured right. Them man there be learning lines, rehearsing life. Trust me, far from certified. Acting while you sleep, I'm working nights. I want all the ups to feel like that Jurgen guy on Merseyside.
Yes, guys. Yes, people. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another stream. I nearly said Chelsea Fan TV for fuck's sakes, but big up everybody that's locked in. Hit the like button, subscribe. We are 24 hours away from one of the most anticipated Chelsea v Arsenal fixtures in recent history. I'm looking forward to it. Not a lot of Chelsea fans are looking forward to it, but hopefully we have a confidence building performance. Hopefully we silence a few critics on Sunday. I'm going into this game with blind optimism for absolutely no reason at all, except because I don't want to be seen going into this game shook. But we're going to chop up everything regarding the Chelsea-Arsenal game. More people will be joining. There will be a couple more Gooners, couple more Chelsea fans joining the stream as well. So continue to stay tuned. Hit the like button, subscribe, check out everyone's socials. Everybody's channels are in the description below. So Jesters, Premzy, all the other panelists as well. Alex, I'll pop your Twitter in there as well so people have somewhere to go to.
It's on
and
stream.
Yeah, big up everyone. Hit the like and subscribe button. Check out Jerseys FC for all your affordable Chelsea kits. And there's a new lottery as well. So any super chat, any amount, you'll be in with the chance of winning the third kit. We're going to run this till the end of the month. And
is my super chat that I wrote it on Chelsea Fan TV since you didn't read it live?
No, it's not good. That's Chelsea Fan TV.
That's not my,
he don't get the money from that.
I didn't think
on,
I thought it was. I didn't see
Jem
the
was
Chelsea.
hosting, bro.
What?
That was Jem's. That was Jem's stream.
No.
He was hosting it, so I can't do.
I'm talking about you and Troops today.
You super chatted.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a stream. That was a video.
No.
That was a video.
You super chatted a video, bro.
Yeah, but what? How is that video if you were live?
We weren't live. We premiered it.
What time?
12 o'clock. It was a premiere. We recorded that last night.
Oh. But it was the live comments, and it was weird because it was a live comment.
When you premiere it, it goes out like it's a stream. But it's not a stream.
$5. You stole it. You stole it.
You know what? Just for the sake of that, we'll add you to the lottery for that anyway. Don't worry. I thought you were talking about Gem's stream.
No. Today, like I said,
I can't. Why aren't they saying my super chat? They even live, bro.
So were you sitting there thinking?
Like I said, man, I grew up with the
some
wooden
shit?
toys, man. Wooden toys.
Wooden toys. Oy.
Fuck's sake. Right. Yeah, we'll add you in anyway. And anyone else who wants to join in, you know what to do. Hit the super chat button. If you don't want to do that, just hit the like and subscribe button. And yeah, let's get into it. Jesters, what are you saying, bro? How's your week been?
Yeah, just same old week. Got the win. We didn't really need it, but we got it this week. Got to see Zakaria finally get on the pitch. So it's been nice. Another injury. What can I say? It's, this team is cursed. A witch doctor must have put a curse on us for injuries. That's 4 starters out again. I don't know. I guess Chelsea's the only club.
What's wrong with Tuchel? He just hamstring.
He tore his hamstring.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's out till January, February.
12 weeks.
Damn. So complete separation.
Yeah,
yep.
it's pretty bad tear.
And everything.
So
that's what I feel when my cuffs are gone. I feel the pop.
Yeah. So I guess Chelsea's the only team that doesn't get any allowance for having 4 starters out. That doesn't figure. Everybody else, when they got 1 starter out, it's like, well, we had a starter out. That's why we didn't win. Chelsea, we have 4 starters out. We don't get that excuse. We got to win regardless.
I still don't think it should be excuse for the loss. We have put a good team to beat Arsenal anyway.
No, what I'm saying is, though, if Arsenal had 4 starters out, you think they would be confident going into the game? Ask Premzy. If you had 4 starters out, if you had Jesus, Partey.
That's a very fair question.
No,
I wouldn't be no, because at the moment our squad depth isn't that great. But the thing is with you guys have got squad depth, haven't you?
Yeah. But
there's a different question in it, realistically, because when you deep the situation, the way Partey is instrumental to us and Jesus. I don't think we've got players that could come in and replace that. Where with Chelsea, spent a lot of money. They've had a lot of investment over the years. Got a good number of players there. And I'm not going to lie, I rate a lot of the Chelsea players that are there. And I think a lot of them could come in and do a job to a high standard. So I think it's a little bit of a different situation when it comes to Arsenal, because everybody knows that our depth isn't there right about now.
Do you think that's what's going to be your Achilles heel this year? Is the depth?
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what happens in January. Look, the World Cup's going to come. Once the World Cup is over, everybody knows what teams do. They want to buy. Now, if we could stay in a good position, stay within the top 2 before the World Cup, hopefully be a top of the table. If we beat yous lot tomorrow, then you never know when players might look at that and think, you know what, Arsenal looking a good outfit right now. Maybe I can come and join that team, add some depth, and you never know what we can go on and do. So, yeah, man, the depth's key. Depth's key. We have to go and buy in January, 100%. Can't do what we done last year and fucked around.
But even if you get an injury or so, like, I think it all just depends on your expectations. Because even in terms of, like, let's say top 4 in general, I still think even if you get 1 or 2 injuries, the squad's upgrading. And with the start to the season, they've already had 2. I could still see them within that sort of race. I'd be very surprised if Arsenal drop out of top 4.
I would be as well. Like, we have to get that.
Depends who gets injured, right? It's not injuries, it's who gets injured. If you get a Partey go down, if you get a Jesus go down. But
do you know what, though? So having said that, Mohamed El Neni has actually just come back from injury, which we seen against Savić. And for me, El Neni is a very professional player. He's given me a lot more confidence to step in if Partey was out rather than Lokonga in that position. And one thing from last season is we've seen El Neni also add goals to his game. With the Jesus at the moment, he's not really scoring the goals, but he affects the game to a very high standard. Also, you've got to look at it as if we was to not have Jesus firing on all cylinders in recent games and recent weeks, you can see the goals are being shared around the Arsenal team right now, which has given me a bit of confidence as well to know there is some goals in this team. Yeah,
but Jesus creates a lot of that by his movement. And so if you take that out of the team, you have to have somebody else come in and do those same things. And do you have that person is Nketiah that guy?
No, he's not that guy, Nketiah. Okay. You get me? I tell you now. But this is the good thing is we're only a few games off the World Cup in it, and then after that, really, it's a January, so we can then add. So I can't see Jesus really being out. How many Arsenal players are going
to the World Cup? Do you know?
To be fair, but I don't really know off the top of my head like that. But I think quite a few of them are going to be staying back as well. So
Martinelli will go for Brazil. Whether he starts in front of Vinicius Jr., whether he starts in front of Neymar, because he plays predominantly down the left-hand channel, I don't think so. What you'll notice is because the core of our group is like under the age of 25 and our best players are under 23 even, they're not going to be starting games. Like, say, City's team, you know, like they're seasoned players. KDB's nailed on for Belgium, you know, like you know, you look at like their players, they're more established. Saka probably starts for England, but I don't think he plays full 90s. He'll probably be the first person they look to kind of take off. So, yeah, Odegaard's not going.
Zinchenko's not going.
Yeah, Zinchenko's not going as well.
Going.
Is Saliba going?
Probably.
Saliba's going, yeah.
Is Partey's going? I don't think. What, Ghana?
Yeah, they qualified.
Yeah, Ghana qualified. Yeah. Yeah, Partey goes.
Ramsdale is going, right? Yeah, Ramsdale is going.
Yeah, Ramsdale's going.
Saka will go.
I don't think Southgate starts him over Pickford. So
I don't think he starts.
What about Tomiyasu? What about Tomiyasu? Tomiyasu's going, right?
Yeah, he goes to Japan.
Yeah.
Then what's his name? That
Irish kid. Tierney's not going.
Tierney's not going. No.
Tierney's not going. He's Scottish, by the way, not Irish.
Gabriel probably go.
Gabriel probably goes, but again, he's not really established himself in Brazil's first 11.
No.
So it's like only 2 or 3 players that could genuinely be playing regularly in the World Cup.
What's his name?
The
defender, the other one.
People aren't
what about Ben
White?
But
I'd love to see Ben White go. I'd love to see Ben White go because I think he's deserved his place.
Ben White and what's the French guy's name?
Offers you a different position.
Saliba will probably go, but he won't start.
Oh, Saliba, yeah. Quality.
Well, it depends
I
on the injuries.
won't be surprised if Saliba starts, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't either. I just don't think. I think
because if you
Deschamps
actually
have
watch a
more
lot of the
faith
French
in the
game
other guys.
of recent times, Saliba's been in there in the mix as well. So
Non-important games, we usually
it'll be
give couple of caps to the players.
Kimpembe plus somebody else, and it depends if they have a right back, unless they put Koundé at right back.
Is
Because
Varane
that's-
definitely out as well?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Varane is out.
yeah.
Varane is out. Yeah.
He's definitely.
And
out.
So
overrated, by
Saliba
the way.
start. Saliba will start, I think. Actually,
Are you actually? To be fair, now you said that, like
If
he actually
Varane's not
might.
fit, he might.
he actually
Yeah.
might. He actually might
Because
start.
I could see them going with a back four where him and Kimpembe are the centre backs and Koundé is the right back. Or
Unless,
Pavard.
unless he will prefer Zuma over him, but
France
doubt it.
rate him very highly as well, man. Like every time he's been in the French league
It's
on
not
loan,
about
he's been
the
in the player of the team. No, it is
Nah.
about that as well. Because
No,
when
no,
you
no,
got
no.
a player
The-
like Varane out, yeah, and you got one of the best centre backs in the
Sorry,
Premier League
I
right
forgot
about now.
Zuma. I forgot
looking
Zuma
at
is
that.
on that
Does-
list too.
it-
And
Yeah, but
Yeah,
those
doesn't
guys
matter.
are-
Saliba, bro, are you mad?
Starting.
Are you
No,
mad?
Saliba-
What are
Saliba's
you
over
drinking,
Zuma.
bro?
it's look,
Zuma don't think he was
international
even on the team.
international football is not club. You look the way they play
doesn't-
together.
No.
I agree, but Deschamps doesn't rate Zuma like that. The fact
No,
that
he
he's willing to, like, it shows a level of confidence in this kid that Deschamps is willing to put him in as, like, he's the third guy. It's Kimpembe, Varane, then him. Like, that shows a massive level of confidence in this guy. And to be fair, like,
Yeah.
he's deserved it. Like, I'll say, he might be an Arsenal player. He's been one of the best free centre backs
Yeah,
this
one
season.
of the best. Yeah.
I
I
like
agree.
you, Scott.
Name
Like
a better
you,
centre back in the Premier right now.
Thiago Silva.
I would say the only two.
He'd
I
be
think,
better this season, bro.
argument.
I
The
was
thing
gonna
I'll say, like,
Form,
I-
fair enough. If we're
I
talking
was going to say,
ability,
like,
that's
in
still
terms of if you take everything into account, obviously the fans of these respective clubs will have their arguments, but I think you can make a case for either one of him, Martinez, or Silva in that argument. All three of them, I think you could make a case for, and obviously, like, Arsenal fans will big up Saliba, Chelsea fans will big up Silva, and United fans will big up Martinez. But I think for all three of them, you can make a case that they've been the best centre back in the league this season.
Can we all just be happy we're not Liverpool?
yeah.
Can we agree on one thing before we tear each other
Why?
apart?
What's happened to Liverpool? We play tomorrow, right?
Or Spurs for that matter.
Or
That's
Spurs.
just it.
Or Spurs, man. We can say Spurs. Because you know how that's
Somehow
going
they're
to
doing
end.
worse than we are.
No, look, it's been a rough year for us, and it's not anything we expected. But considering the fact that we have a new owner, and that was a whole big mess. We've changed managers, and we have 4 injuries to starters.
That's a lot of excuses for no fucking reason.
What do you mean? It's not an excuse. It is what it is. If any other team had that, they would be happy to even be, relevant.
I don't understand the point of bringing up the injuries.
Because
Are you already doubting yourself going into the game? Is that the
no?
reason?
All
So
I'm
what's the
saying
point
is it's
of
not
bringing them
talked
up?
about enough. Everybody else, look, when Liverpool had their down year and
Look-
Van Dijk was hurt, they're like, all these injuries are killing us. Even this year, they're complaining about injuries. Is why, if you listen to their fans,
I
it's
think-
injuries is why they're not playing good.
I think there's a reason behind it because we have such a big squad. Even if with the injuries, we have for
Doesn't mean
example,
we have
if
the same quality.
I know, well, that's not what is viewed. What I'm saying is like same with last year with Chelsea had 4 injuries in the midfield. We had to play and the back line last season when we had December, when we had crash going down. Is anybody like, oh, we give you props, Chelsea fans? Yeah, you had the big injuries. That's why you had such a big drop. No, we had worse injury last season. So how the fuck we're gonna have excuses for last season this one than nobody else?
Again, I just not the point of me saying.
I
that.
see
I'm
what you're saying.
Is we don't get to be. We're not able to use that as an excuse. Take like as in comparison, Liverpool, their fans go, "Well, we have injuries," and everybody goes, "Oh, okay, well, they have injuries. They'll be back when their injuries are fixed up." Everybody still says that Liverpool will be back once all their players get back healthy.
No, I knew
That's-
that wasn't the case.
And with Chelsea, it's not that case. We're okay. Well, you have a deep squad, so it doesn't matter. Well, you have the best right back in the world out right now, and it's not like you have a good player. It's the best right back in the world. He's out,
And we rely on him so heavily.
and he's a key to what we do. And people might say, "Well, he's a right back. Why is he?
Is he
Well,
fully
he's that
gone?
good.
Is he going to be fully out for the World Cup as well? Or
Nah, he's trying to rush
No,
himself
he's
back.
I was
no,
gonna say
he's,
reports.
Stupid.
he's
So
going
I'm
to
saying
the
if
World Cup.
If he was smart, he wouldn't be. But if reports
He's
are to be
going to
believed,
the
he's
World Cup.
asking. Yeah, he's asking Southgate to be included in the squad.
And
By
Southgate's
the
just
way,
going to
I
run
need
his
to
ass to the ground, fuck his knee up again.
I need to address Ryan. Arsenal gonna no, that's not. I don't. What's the words he said? I can see Chelsea losing. Dude, you blind, man.
I don't use injuries as excuses.
why? 1 minute, mate. Alex, why can't you see Chelsea losing? Do you think you're being on hot form right now?
Nope.
No, it doesn't.
Because you went and jumped off the bridge in your last game against Brighton. So what fills you with so much confidence, bro?
Let's talk about their last 5 games.
Like, yeah, exactly.
The last
Like,
5 games against us, they only won 1 game.
What's
They only won 1 game.
okay? What's the point going into the fucking game when you're saying like, oh, we're bigger, we're butt, and bam, we got spanked for the past 4 years? What that makes difference? Did we or did we not? How many losses we had with Arsenal last time, and who was the underdog then? What's the difference now?
I think
the difference now is that Arsenal have been playing very consistent for this whole season, and you man have been up and down, left, right, and centre. You get me?
It's a game of football.
No one's saying it's going to be an easy game. What I'm saying is what fills you with so much confidence. This is what I don't understand.
No,
because if I was a Chelsea fan, bro, because that's what you just said to that guy then, yeah.
Do you think I'm gonna?
Bro.
You think I'm gonna? You think I'm gonna put my? No, you think I'm gonna put my kids' college fund on this game? The Chelsea's gonna win? No, but it's not like I'm gonna say like, oh my god, we get battered 10-0. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be.
That's nobody said that though, innit?
No. By the way, everybody addresses, we're gonna get like even fucking crying Ryan over here, like, oh, Chelsea's gonna get spanked. Chelsea's gonna get spanked. I don't see us getting spanked. It's gonna be a tight game. And it's it.
I'm just going into this game with confidence for no reason. No reason whatsoever.
Respect, Lewis. At least one of us does. I respect
I'll be real with it. It's just for the sake of it that I'm confident. That's it.
Well,
don't ask me why.
From what I've watched today, there's really the parity is starting to set in the league. Usually you could say, well, this team's going to win because they're playing this other team. That's not been the case this year. So when you really look at it, there's a lot of parity within the league where in any given day, any team can beat any team. And that used to not be the case.
It was always the case. Any team could beat any team. It was always the case.
No, not really. Come on. You had Man City go through, get
the last
points.
few years, I think it has.
You know,
always like that, man. Stoke City beat anybody on any fucking given day. There's no such a thing as guaranteed 3 points, and especially in Premier League. You can say that in Bundesliga.
No, they're even less so this year. In the past, there were teams you knew you were going to go up against, and you're going to batter them.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Especially if you were in top 4. But this year, you got Bournemouth with name a few players that are actually the caliber to play in the Premier League, and they're out of the relegation zone. Hell, they beat some teams this year, and it's Bournemouth, and there's nobody on that team. So what I'm saying is that you're gonna start seeing as a year go on that the top of the table and the bottom and the mid table are not going to be a huge amount of points away. I think you're going to have a lot of people crammed in the top 10 with maybe 4 or 5 points separating 4th from 7th or 10th.
But if Arsenal get a result on Sunday, for example, do you think there's going to start a gap's going to start to show, like between the top 2, 3, and everyone else potentially? Because like, if I just get the table,
I don't care about the gap until February, end of February. That's when the gaps matter.
That's fair enough, but like it's results in games.
It's a 3 stages. Premier League has 3 stages. If you pass it and you are within 10 points from 4th to first within 10 points. First was the December. That's the period when what's the name? When all the chaotic game starts. Small cups going on and stuff like that. Second is after January transfer window, see how many people buys and enforce the team, plus the Championship League. And the final third is when the Championship League, if you qualify or not for the April games. And it's it. That's the third. From February, you need to be within 6 points to first place, and from the April within 3 to 4, and that's when it's gonna be the final. Especially and another thing, I just don't care about the second place. Second and fourth don't mean the shit. So you have same amount of losers, even 4 or even fourth, doesn't matter. You loser. Whoever wins.
As long as we end up in one of those positions, I'll be happy. Moving
Exactly.
back on to Arsenal in general. Lee, I'll start off with you because you're the newest one here. Thoughts on Chelsea this season, and is there any aspect of our game that
Keep going back to
potentially
Arsenal. He said Chelsea.
Oh, yeah. Well, point still stands anyway.
Why'd you ask him the thoughts on his team?
Firstly, shout
out.
They're top of the league, innit?
No, I'm gonna say shout out to everyone on the panel, man. Sorry for the lateness, man. But yeah, big up, especially the Arsenal man, them here, man. Like I gotta say, love and respect to them, to the people at the top. Listen, man, it might be a bloodbath for you tomorrow. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, look, I think Premzy kind of got it all the nail on the head, man. Like I'm feeling good. I don't know why I wouldn't go into the game feeling confident. Chelsea are, and look, we've spoken. We do the Prem panel show every week. I'm quite high up on Potter. I actually quite like him. I think he's a very good manager. I think the result last week was quite embarrassing, but I'm going to chalk it down to, I mean, it can happen. Like, unfortunately, it happened to you. Well, fortunately, it happened to you. But yeah, like I think Chelsea are going to be, they're going to be a threat tomorrow. Like, I do think they have some tangible reasons as to why they think they can beat Arsenal. But I just think that your midfield currently is null and void. I think your strikers are a little bit wayward, and your defense can be got at quite easily. So I think that makes for a mixture of mess for tomorrow. But look, it's North London. It's a London derby. You've had a great record before the last 4 years or so against us. And yeah, Scott so nicely put that horrible picture up there to kind of maybe get on my nerves. But yeah, look, I think Chelsea maybe they think they have a right to be confident, but yeah, like I feel good, man. I feel good for tomorrow. If the team turn up and play the way that we've been playing, even half of what we can play, I think that we'll get a result, and I think we'll get quite a good result as well.
I don't blame you for feeling that sort of way, especially with the way that we've been playing this season. In terms of Arsenal, like, what do you think a result like this would signify? Premzy, I'll go to you on this one because we did speak a little bit about this on your stream earlier, Gunnerking. Premzy, what's your thoughts on what a result would signify from an Arsenal perspective and potentially from a Chelsea perspective as well?
Do you know what, bro? If we win at the Bridge, it will give the boys a lot of belief that they can then go to places big, because we're not going to deny it. It's a big game against Chelsea. As much as we have banter and this and that, it's Chelsea are one of them teams that on any day they can turn out the result in it. So we got to respect you, which I believe that we will go into the game and respect Chelsea. But at the same time, I don't think we'll alter the style of play that we've got. And I think we're going to go on the front foot like we've seen pretty much all season. Now, if we win, like I said, it'll put us back to the top of the Premier League after Man City getting that little cheeky penalty today to win against Fulham. And that would just only give the boys belief, because my aim is, and I believe the boys' aim is, to go and cement that top spot before we go into the World Cup. And then we can then take it after that. Like I said, the January transfer window, give the boys some more belief by adding quality. And it can be a good season for us. I feel like if Chelsea win, it can kickstart the season. You know, having Arsenal turn up to town, top two, you know, we've been pretty much top of the table all season, one of the best teams in form. Over the last 3 games, you haven't got a victory. So you're going to be gunning for a victory because it is due. I feel like if you did beat us, obviously he's got a bit of bragging rights back. The Chelsea fans can put the chest out a little bit, and that might, you know, rub off onto the players on the pitch in the stadium. And you don't know what can happen. Personally, I agree with Lee. I think Potter's a top manager. I think you guys have got to give him a little bit of time to figure out his system and his style of play and who he's going to play in what position. You know, but it's one of them games, isn't it? I'm just confident for the game with the Arsenal. I feel like we need it more than yous need it, to be honest with you, because if we want to keep going with the progression and development that we are, we've got to start going to the big 6 teams, home ground, and picking up them results. And that's pretty much it, really, my brother.
And do you know, I want to just add on to Premzy as well. I think it's the reason why I probably think it's the result is big for us tomorrow is only because we want to keep winning to put the pressure on Man City for as long as possible. We want to say, do you know what? Whether or not we shoot for the stars, well, we shoot for the moon and we aim for the stars and we still get top 4, that's not a problem. But if we just keep winning, churning out wins, you never know when you get to the January window. And I think that will then put the pressure back on the owners to say, look, we have to invest and we have to maybe get that 1 or 2 extra bodies into the club. We've been linked to a winger.
You know what? It will show you where it'll show you where the owner's mindset is and their mentality. You get me? Because if we are in and around that first, second spot come January, and there's a real push for us to then go on and do something. 100%. If the owners have got any balls behind them and they want to win shit, because you've seen Kroenke's winning the Super Bowl and all that. You get me? Now they've got the feel of winning stuff. If they want to win, they're going to have to go out and sign, because if they don't, we'll actually see what they're on in it. If they don't go out and sign in January when we know we need that squad depth, and we're in a position where we can go on and push for the title, then we're going to know what kind of owners we got. We're going to get a better indication after January. Man, I agree with you, my brother.
I've said as well, if we do, like, I've been targeting pretty much what Prem said about getting to December, the World Cup break, still top of the table. Like, can you imagine the boost, like, in the January market that actually gives us, like, in terms of, like, how attractive a proposition we are to players that we're targeting? You know, like, if we're going to be targeting that bit of quality now that can take us to the next level, you know, rewind a year ago when we was approaching Locatelli, Vlahovic, we saw how that went. You know, we approached those players, top of the league, you know, like, coming into January. You know, all of a sudden, doors start opening. You know, like, people might not think, well, Arsenal haven't been in the Champions League for a while, but they're top of the table now. They got a young manager. The trajectory of the club's direction is obviously in a forward momentum kind of drive. So that makes a big difference, I think. You know, like, I'm not saying, like, there'll be no gloss on it if we're second, you know, behind City, because I still think that shows progress, you know, from where we've been these last couple of years. But it makes all the difference. And also, there's another thing. None of the big 6 clubs have won away against each other. So, you know, for all the talk that we heard at the beginning of the season, Arsenal aren't strong enough to go and beat the other big 6 teams. You know, only United have beaten more now. I think also to take that scalp and to be like, you know, all the talk of your prospects being the weakest against big 6 opposition, you're the actual ones that went and did it away before anyone. That, I think, is another confidence booster for, you know, what is a very young squad at the moment.
Let me ask you this question. On the flip side, what happens if you lose? What's the feeling then?
I don't think there's going to be that much of an issue. Look, at the end of the day, it will be a thing where, look, people are gonna say what they want about Arteta. People are gonna say what they want about this team. But 2 things can be true. We are playing excellently well, and I'm not trying to give us an excuse because it's not. But we are still a young team learning how to beat the big teams away. And I'm not saying now straight away, that I'm backtracking from what I've said. But what I am saying is that if we do lose tomorrow, we're gonna do what we did hopefully against when we lost.
What games do you have left before the World Cup?
So we have you tomorrow. We have Brighton in the Carling Cup or Carabao Cup, and then we have Wolves away next week Saturday.
So that's kind of good, because if it was Chelsea and you go, like, for example, it depends on the time. For example, if you lost to Chelsea tomorrow, that will be fine because you can recover with the other games before you go away, for example. But if it wasn't lost right before you go into the World Cup, that could be bringing the mental pressure on Arsenal, because there's no game to fix the problem and everybody just sitting and waiting. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the best way to do it. It's just get a win after a loss if a loss happens. By the way,
the thing is, we left United and then we went on an 8-game unbeaten run. You know, a few times that happened last season as well. You know, where we went on 2 11-game unbeaten runs last season. So you are seeing the mental strength in this young group of kids growing, you know, like, where they are responding, you know, from losses quicker. They're bouncing back quicker. and they're going on long runs when they do that. I don't look. I never want to lose to Chelsea ever. I never want to lose to United. I never want to lose to Spurs. Like that, the losing to those three
Is
clubs
there a
leaves
team you
bitter
like to
taste in
lose
my
to?
mouth. But as Lee said, in terms of where we are, you know, like, and how young this squad is, and you know, like the lessons they still have to learn. I believe like we learned a lot from that United game. You know, like that United game, for example, United sat back and countered us. Look how we dealt with Liverpool. Liverpool were more dominant in the first half.
Well,
and we scored 2 goals, springing counter transitions of our own that were very similar. You know, like, and I
there's
think
the styles that you can play against and styles that you can't.
Do you know what? You know what, Alex?
Example, you know how we Chelsea always had the same. Like Liverpool beats everybody, but for some fucking reason they can't beat us. It was always like that. It's because the styles match. For example, that's why I think Arsenal, the styles don't match with Conte. I said from the beginning, I don't rate Conte as high as a lot of people do, because you cannot sustain that kind of game all the time. You cannot create. You have to create a midfielder. You have to have a creative midfielder to create for Son and Kane, but they don't have it. And at the end of the day, that's what causes them the game, because they cannot create. That's why I think Spurs is actually on the bottom of the champs. Then with what's his name? With Man United. Man United manager is actually, I rate him. Especially when we played, it opened my eyes how good Ten Hag is. He literally outplayed Arteta. That's one thing in that game. I'm not saying as like in that game, he outplayed us and he outplayed you as a technical thing. Another one, Arsenal has kind of like Liverpool in the beginning, if you remember, like 3-4 years ago. They had that one gear, they pressing non-stop until they score. And then they let the breathers so the other team can come up and they kill them. That's how Arsenal plays right now. You good because you have those young players that don't get tired. I'm saying is like if you cause a little bit of outbalance, you put the doubt in the youngsters. It doesn't matter how much, like you said, that they can learn from everything.
Do you know what, Alex? Let me just jump in, for a second. Let me just jump in, First of all, obviously you must have watched that United game. Ten Hag United, they didn't outplay us. They had the scoreline flattered him. We was the dominant team for best part of that whole game. Yeah. Now, when you're asking the question about what would it do to Arsenal if we was to lose that game, I believe it also has an impact on how we would lose that game. If we went to Stamford Bridge and lost 5-1, then it'd have a lot more of a detriment to us having a tight game, 1-1, Chelsea nicking it 2-1. I think it'll have a much more of a detriment. Yeah, I agree with that. However, the evidence of this season is when we have lost or we've had a draw of a game, we bounced back pretty much straight away. Last season, it wasn't like that. Last season, when we went and lost another and another. And that happened pretty much, I think, twice. We lost 3 games in a row, something mad like that last season. So we have got a young squad, but they're a year older than what they were last season. And I feel like
I agree with that, to be fair.
I agree with you with that too, but you misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not looking Arsenal from last season to this season. That's not what I'm looking, because the style of the game changed from last season to this season.
No, exactly. That's why I said to you, evidence of this season is when we've dropped points, we've gone on a run, haven't we?
Exactly.
So
but
what I'm saying is it's different.
Yeah,
because this is what I'm telling you, is different from what it was last season, because our players of this season have now gone a year older. Best part of most of our players that we had in that team last season are playing this season, and they've developed, they've grown. We found a new role for Granit Xhaka from the start of January, and that's played key role. Like I said, it depends on how we would lose the game. That's just basically answering your question. But even then, I wouldn't be too worried if I was an Arsenal fan, because, you know, you got to respect Chelsea. They're at home. They've got the 12th man behind him. And on their day, they can beat anyone. So it depends on how we bounce back.
Yeah, I never can hear Chelsea fans out sing the away end. I always call Lewis a fraud and Fatur for not yelling a lot, because I cannot go to the game, but I can hear on TV.
I'm sorry I don't have the voice of 42.
I know you.
But you know what, though? I was going to say that. Sorry, Scott,
it's true, man.
I was just going to say, I completely agree with what, like, Premzy is saying. I agree with, like, you guys in terms of, like, I think this game, unless you were to get absolutely blown out by Chelsea, like it was to be like a 5-1 or a 5-0, this game to me from an Arsenal perspective is like almost like it's like you're in no lose position where regardless of the result, I think you guys are strong enough this season to pass through it. Even if you were to lose like a 2-1, say, I think you're strong enough to just press through that. And I think even if you were to lose 2-1, you'd still probably beat Brighton and then beat Wolves. Like we saw it earlier, as you mentioned, with United. You lost to United, then beat Brentford, smashed Tottenham, and beat Liverpool, like in your next 3 league games. So I think in from like your guys' perspective, it's fine unless you get blown out, regardless of the result. And then if you do get a win, depending on how like comfortable the win is in your instance, it can be a massive boost.
It depends on perspective, Scott. If you're going for the second position on the table, or you're going for the Premier League. If you're going for the Premier League, every game is important. It doesn't matter what Chelsea is.
I agree.
We're talking
at the same time, like again, they lost to United, and literally it didn't matter. Like they dropped points in that game, but in terms of
it will be matter at the end of the season if 3 points going to be the difference.
No, but if I mean not the actual points, I mean in terms of the effect it then had on the team going forward, there was no effect. It literally turned around straight away and just won. Like, but that's my point. Is like I look at it from our perspective. I don't like, regardless of the result tomorrow, I don't trust these set of players. Like we could win 5-0 and then we could go and lose our next game against Newcastle 3-0.
That's what I said.
These players that we've got are the complete opposite. Where Arsenal were last year, where they're so weak. They're weak-minded and there's no spine behind most of them. So they'll probably turn up in this game, and then we'll go and play Newcastle and we won't turn up. I guarantee I can see it coming because that's just what this team is like.
And Scott, I was going to say the same thing, right? When the guy asked me or asked Arsenal fans about what's going to be the effect if we lose the game. I think that ultimately it's going to be the exact same for you guys. If you win the game, I still won't trust you to go on a 3-4 game winning streak. Whereas with Arsenal, we know that we have got that bounce back ability. And I think we're just in a different mindset. We're very driven at this moment in time. Our squad is horrible if you look at it and be quite frank, because we know that when we make 1 or 2 changes, the whole momentum of the team changes. But when we play our first team and they're all on it and firing, we are very good. When you play your first team and you're all on it and firing, you're still quite a way away from being a good team at this current moment.
I'm not sure they even know what their best team is.
Yeah, and I was going to say that, but whatever they believe to be their best team,
we all have our best 11s, man.
Yeah, but
every one of us has a best 11.
But they all look completely different. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, and everybody's different.
I still think the Chelsea best 11 doesn't kind of put a real glove on Arsenal fan or Arsenal's team at this moment. So
you're on mute, Premzy.
I will say that it will be a little bit disappointing.
Alex, the most important thing though is for your manager to know his best 11, and he doesn't know that yet. It's all good us having an opinion and having our best 11.
Yeah.
But your manager don't know his best 11 yet. Let me go back on mute.
No. The funny part is I don't think he knew his best 11 in Brighton because he always switches up over there.
I don't think he did for the last since he's come in. To be honest with you,
it was annoying.
There is that pragmatism in his management style, but there would be like a way that he wants to play. I think I've seen some improvements in your system, but it's like to take it to the next level, he needs to switch out some of the players to get more.
I didn't see no improvements. We're playing the same way.
I think you've been better at controlling possession under Potter than the end of Tuchel, I would say. But
I will say, in the beginning when the Tuchel first came, everybody was excited. I'm comparing to that. Yeah. Not when players turn on him because nobody's performing then. I'm talking about when he had the players had his back. That's what I'm comparing. Potter now versus Tuchel when he was in the beginning, because it's no point of comparing Tuchel at the end because Mount was giving him angry eyes. Jorginho, I don't know, what he was doing. So you know what I'm saying? Like there's the players that did not want to play. Pulisic literally wrote the book on the bench. So what I'm saying is like if your players don't play for you, doesn't care what system you put it, they're not gonna play for you. So that period of time, I don't rate. I'm looking what Tuchel was before when everybody was hyped.
I still think there's some improvements. I think we
Wait, can I wait,
play
so
the ball a
can
lot quicker. I think we
so
have
are
the
you saying that
ability.
Chelsea
to
are
speed
they're
the game
worse
up a lot
now
quicker.
than? Are you saying Chelsea are worse now than what they were before? I think I don't know.
No, they're
I,
not.
maybe,
They're not.
I really do like Potter. I
No,
think
they're
look.
not.
I think
No.
I
Okay,
said to
please
Lewis
tell me
the other
what
day,
was bad last season before we in the December 1st we were first,
like,
but
okay,
we
so,
didn't concede the freaking goal.
What?
So what?
So my thing,
No.
my thing was with
No.
Chelsea, right? Was
Mhm.
and Lewis would know every week I was getting onto him on the Prem panel show because I just thought Tuchel was he's a clown, like, and he was getting no kind of he was getting no reputable like blame for any of his mistakes. I do look at Potter and I think, and I said to him and I asked him, what is it with managers why they keep putting players in different positions where they know they can't play? So the idea of Sterling playing wing back and Pulisic playing wing back, but I do look at Chelsea and that they look more fluid. Their attack looks a lot more tangible. It looks a lot more like there's a bit more firepower with it. I think you do.
Let me go next, Lewis, after you finish.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go finish your point. Finish your point. I just wanted to go after you. Like once you finish your point.
No, I was just saying that I genuinely do believe that Potter is looking better than Tuchel at this current moment in time, and I think he's moving forward.
You know, like I want Potter to do well, but I think like a lot of our fans are looking at it from a lot of optimism rather than actual being objective about it. If you look at like position, yeah, Tuchel actually had more position than Potter, even towards the end of his tenure, yeah. So I think a lot of fans are acting like, oh yeah, we do look better, but I can't remember when is the last time we lost 4-1 to Brighton under Tuchel. So I'm gonna be patient.
4-1 at home to Brentford.
I was going to say we got smashed by West Brom.
Where do you want to go?
But when was that? But when was that?
4-1 at home.
Last season.
2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
2 seasons ago, whatever it was.
You had 10 men. You had 10 men that game.
Yeah, we had 10 men.
No, we got
Yeah,
smashed
yeah.
twice. We got smashed twice by West Brom.
Yeah, but the main point I was going to is I've never thought that in my lifetime. Can you shut the fuck up, Andrew? Let me finish my point. So if you look at it, like it's the first time that I in my lifetime that I thought that Arsenal would walk into a game against Chelsea as the favorites. So like the standards of Chelsea have gone so low right now for us, man. That I have no words, man. But people are comparing shit with shit. Like what Tuchel have been toward the end of his tenure, he was crap, and what we are seeing now under Potter is crap as well. So for me, there's not much difference because the reason I compare them is because it's shit, and people are like, oh no, we lost like this against Tuchel. We lost like this. It doesn't matter.
The manager's not the problem.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I agree with you. We have this debate weekly on the panel, though. Like that.
Carefree Lewis, yeah, jumped on my channel earlier. Yeah. There's a guy here. I know. He's done the research. Yeah, your last league title under Conte, 92 points in a season. Since then, you spent like 950 million on 26 players, and yeah, you won the Champions League. You're gonna put your Champions League in your PFP and parade that in front of our
World Cup.
But you've never been anywhere near a league title in that time. Yep. You spent an unprecedented amount of money compared to Liverpool and Man City. They spent far less in that time.
Oh, they won one title in 30 years. That's what we should go for?
No. But the point I'm saying is they've actually competed with City and spent a third of it.
Okay, and again, it's a second place.
And they've completed their cabinet in that time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get what you're saying. Yeah, they've only won one league title, but when you consider in that period they've completed football, you know, they've been.
Yeah, but how did they complete football? If you look at the last
finals, you know, like, and if you compare that to what you spent on those 26 players, like that shows that their recruitment, their scouting is more effective. Or it has been for that period.
That's not true though. Like if you look at Liverpool in the last 8 years and Chelsea in the last 8 years, we have won almost the same amount of trophies. And I'm not saying that to kind of justify what Chelsea have been, because for me, Chelsea massively underperformed in the last 10 years. I think the Champions League both times kind of covered for the cracks in the team that we had. We had no planning in the team. We just signed players for what profile they have. We had no actual planning to make a super team. And every time we've been successful as a club, we never build up on it. And I've been saying it for the last, since the Conte season, I said, if we're not going to start building up on our success, we're going to get nowhere. And 7-8 years later,
who's at fault? Sorry, who's at fault for that?
The club. Who am I blaming, Scott? You know me. I don't blame the manager for it.
Why would you?
Who? It was the old regime. Like you can say it, the old regime were at fault for that. That's why we never built, because the old regime
you
never
should not
decided to build.
okay, don't celebrate the championship league then. Fucking
No, you can celebrate. You can celebrate, but that's not like
Nothing's
You know
changed.
what? No, listen. As an Arsenal fan, yeah, I think I think you need to give Tuchel some credit, you know, because personally, I don't think I don't think he did that bad. You get me? He's won you the Champions League. Fair enough. Sometimes they don't work out with managers. He maybe lost the dressing room. Potter's coming now, and you just got to give this guy time. He's only just stepped through the door. You know what I mean? And then after a season or two, then you can then compare a Tuchel team to a Potter team, in my opinion, obviously.
I don't think any of us want to Potter out.
Yeah, I don't
think any of us want Potter out.
Everyone stop. Lee, then Alex.
Let me just say one thing, right? Do you know how beautiful I'm sitting here, yeah, and I just got like this. I feel like I'm gonna get a tear to my eye, like how the times have changed, man. All this infighting with Chelsea fans, who the manager is, if they're good. Listen, bro,
this was us last year, bro.
This is us. We always like that.
Yeah, plus us in the panel, we've been in agreement for most of it, to be honest.
You're Chelsea fans. Just keep arguing, keep the infighting going on, because honestly, you're bringing a tear to my. It's so beautiful. It is so beautiful, man. I just love it. Like, oh, the times have changed, man. How the times have changed. And you know what?
I mean, a tear in your eye tomorrow, but it won't be.
It really hasn't, bro. It really hasn't. Once we win a major trophy, then it will change.
No. Hold on a second. I don't think.
Everyone said he's got a Lego hair and all this other stuff. He's got Chelsea fans crumbling and rumbling. Life is good, man.
We actually argue more than you think. We argue when we fucking won the championship league. We always argue.
Yeah, man.
I promise you, man.
Bro, I can't lie. These streams are just arguments.
Yeah.
We could have won 7-0.
Keep going, man. Keep going.
No. It's like, look, we're not AFTV arguing. Like, let's get
Shout
this right. We're arguing.
Big up AFTV.
I'll be there tomorrow. Don't you worry.
I'm saying, like, we're not arguing on that level. We're arguing between us, like a couple of people that we know each other. But look, Scott has his own way to look at the game.
Each other sometimes.
Yeah. We are like Scott likes us to play. This is why he thinks that it's better, because I agree. Potter got us a little bit play more forward thinking. Tuchel stopped us conceding. I'm a defender by breed. I'll watch the games from defense's standpoint. For me, conceding is, you can't win the games when you concede. You have to stop conceding before you start scoring. And that's the problem, the way I look at the game. So for me, Tuchel stopped conceding, but he was not given time to fix the problem scoring. With Harry Potter, I agree. I don't. By the way, nobody thinks he should be fired now. But I'm saying, like, he fixed the problem going forward a little bit. We're more creative. There's still problem with midfield. But we all of a sudden start conceding amount of games. That's what's the problem.
Didn't you like keep 5 consecutive clean sheets under Potter recently or something?
Yeah, but the performance was the same.
Like, what happens when you concede and don't score? Because that's what we were doing under Tuchel.
Draws.
For decent parts.
Yeah. I'd rather have draws than concede lose the game.
No. What happens when you concede and you don't score? At that point, you're losing games and you're just not scoring and not creating anything. Because we went through periods of doing that under Tuchel. I love Tuchel. He's a great manager. But under Potter, there are things I see that I am liking more. Number one, the fact that we are playing quicker. Even if we're having the ball a little bit less, we're trying to move quicker, which causes... it causes more gaps to appear. It's just then we don't have the quality of player to consistently attack those gaps and take advantage of those spaces.
Scott, basically, I watched the Salzburg game with a Chelsea fan. Yeah, I think it was the second chance that Over missed, where you built up the play from your goalkeeper, from Kepa, transitioned it from the defense out into midfield, out into the attack.
The counter attack.
You weren't really seeing that. Yeah, you weren't really seeing that, like, not just the fluidity, but actually playing out with that assurance from the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
You weren't seeing that a great deal under Tuchel. And Over missed the chance. And that
it was before Tuchel. It's even before Tuchel. We didn't score from counter attacks. We were so bad in transition. And I can tell you the reason why, but that's the different agenda. But last time the Chelsea scored on a goal in transition, please somebody fucking Google me. It's gonna be 2 or 3 years ago.
I don't know.
We are bad on a counter.
Last season we had 2 goals from counter-attack, so yeah, could be.
One of the other things I like from Potter as well is he's willing to go more direct sometimes. There are times when we are willing to go a bit more direct. I saw that so few times under Tuchel, and if we did go direct, it was from our centre backs. Like, it was so few players forward from our centre backs were willing to go direct, and I like the fact that there are more players that are willing to do that now, and there's more opportunities where we're doing that. Something we probably need to do a little bit more, but that's an improvement. Like, I'll happily let the other team have a little bit more possession than we would have done under Tuchel if we can attack in better instances. If once we get the ball, we can counter-attack better, we can be more direct, because it will just lead to more goals. And if it doesn't, what it will show, as we're seeing now, is that some of these players are just not good enough. Some of these players are not up to the quality of either being in the squad or being first-team players, and they'll get phased out when we get better quality.
Do you think Aubameyang has got enough quality to be playing for Chelsea right now?
We should ask you this question. He's your player, not us.
No, he
doesn't.
doesn't.
Clearly, he's got a blue shirt on, and he played for you, man.
He's scoring tomorrow.
Scott, you know what? I wanted to ask you a question, right?
Saliba's made space in the back pocket, rude boy, man.
Yeah.
He's made space for him, man.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Got rid of Salah, got rid of all these man. He's like, there you go.
If I predict the starting 11 right, he's not going to be Saliba that defending against him.
I wanted to ask a question to the Chelsea fans as well, because I heard Scott say, talking about the players and maybe they're not being good enough. So your next thing that you're going to probably speak about is getting rid of these bunch of players and getting more players and spending more money. Like, don't you think though, like the manager that you currently have, Potter, there's got to be some onus to coach these players and get them better, because you've already spent 270 million or something around that figure. How much more money are you going to spend? And again, people are going to say that Arteta spent 400 million or 300. That's over 3 years. And you've seen the difference that he's made. And we've had to obviously spend money to get rid of that. People don't always remember that we've had to spend money to kind of have real stopgaps, because we had to then invest heavily in those summer windows. Hence why we renewed and we got Luis.
There's more.
There is more. But
there's more to FFP to just sell players. There's more to it.
But all I'm asking is, don't you think that there has got to be some onus on the manager to now do what he has to do, which is manage and get players to become better players? Because you can't keep saying, oh, these players aren't good enough. Because my only thing and why I say this is because when Arteta had all these players, like your Kolasinacs and your Mustafis and your Ozils, what was labelled at him? He needs to coach them to get better. He needs to make best. Why is he spending all this money? That's what people kept saying. So now,
but you replaced him.
We need to let him go. And
the thing is, if you look at Ten Hag, right? Ten Hag's playing with some players that don't fit his system, but he's getting something out of them.
Thank you.
In the immediate short term, to back up what Lee's saying, I have to work with these players. Yeah, and I think when you look at what Chelsea have to spend and how limited that's going to make them in the market, like Lee's saying, that point is now. Chelsea.
But how do you know them United players? How do you know them United players? Yeah, just suited Ten Hag's system better than the systems that they've played before. How do you not know that?
Ten Hag doesn't play counter-attacking system. He adjusted. He never played counter-attacking.
He can adjust. He has adjusted this season. The thing for me with these players is
he adjusted for Arsenal.
He only adjusts to counter-attacking when he's playing big teams. When he's not playing big teams, they're not playing counter-attacking football, bro.
Name me the ones time that
just like when they were playing you, they didn't play counter-attacking football against you, did they?
No, so I think that he's got the option to do that. He has the ability to do that.
Yeah, that's not what it's a counter-attacking team, and there's a quick transition where you press the ball. There's a free. Depends when you press the ball. If you press in the final third, in the midfield, or you press all the way in the back, it depends where you press it. It depends where the transition can be. If you recover the ball in the midfield, is it counter-attacking or no?
Well, if you could watch United games, they press from the front now.
I was going to say they are a team on the front
you
foot.
must not watch him, bro.
No, that's what I'm.
They're a team that are playing on the front foot, but have the option to counter attack when they are, like we said, when they are playing a bigger team.
But that's not their key game, though, isn't it? Now.
The thing for me, we're going back to Lee's question about the players. The thing for me is these players are good enough for us to get top 4. I think that I have higher ambitions than that. I want us to get back to the point of winning the league. And for me, a large portion of these players aren't good enough for us to do that. Obviously, that's going to take time. And I think I agree with you that some of these players can improve. I've seen some improvements in some players up to now, like Pulisic has improved since Potter's comes in. It looks like, for example, I think Jorginho's got better in some aspects, or he's doing more. I think, for example, Gallagher's improved. I think that, who else? I think obviously we've seen improvement. I think there are improvement in some players. My thing is, there are some players that just aren't improving, and I know it's a small sample size up until this point, but I just don't have faith that these players can improve, because up until this point, even under Tuchel, I saw no improvement, or I saw little improvement, and I don't know how long we can wait of giving these players another 3 years to improve, and if they don't improve, then by that time you've probably sacked Potter, because if we're not getting the results we want. So for me, I think that some players we need to get more in anyway. And hopefully now with the change in ownership and with the new recruitment staff coming in, that was the biggest thing for me as well, is, yeah, we were spending lots of money, but it was on just terrible players or the wrong players. Like we were spending stupid fees, like on a Kai Havertz, for example. Like we probably shouldn't have bought him, or at least not spent 72 million on him.
No, Lampard didn't even ask for him.
We shouldn't be spending, like, even though he has improved, we shouldn't be spending 72 million on a goalkeeper when there was a better option for cheaper that Liverpool then went and got, that we had available.
Did you know
to us.
that there was an option for cheaper before we bought him? Or you knew that he was going to flop it?
No, as in you can just do some scouting and don't go and sign a guy for 72 million when you can go and sign someone who's better. Like
Milan
would have got how much
like City signed Grealish for 100 as a flop. Like Liverpool signed another one for 100. Every club does mistakes, man.
Yeah, cool. Do you know what the difference? Do you know what the difference is? Is that's how many you've just named 2 players there, 1 from each team. I can name you 5 from Chelsea off the top of my head.
More like 10.
That said Lukaku's going to score for Chelsea.
I give you 10 with a bit of thought. If I really wanted to do it, if I really wanted to do it, 15.
Like I said, yeah, like I said, 26 players, 947 million since you last won a league title.
No, but
to not even feature in a title race. Not one.
I agree.
More recruitment.
I think the problem comes is the recruitment was shit. I think we went and signed the wrong players. We spent, like, regardless of, like, I was part of the people that wanted him, and I admit it was a mistake, but going and spending 100 million on Lukaku was dumb. That was an idiotic mistake. Going and spending 72 on Kepa was stupid. Like, you didn't need to spend that much on a goalkeeper. Going and spending 72 on Havertz was dumb. Going and spending 50 on Morata at the time, stupid. Going and spending all these huge fees on players was just dumb, because our recruitment was shit. There we go. Keep going, bro. Going and spending like 70 mil on Pulisic to be a bench player.
The thing is, it's not that you recruited bad players on paper. Like, I think where Arsenal are ahead of a lot of teams at the moment, we might not have a world-class player. You might be able to find a world-class player in every other Big 6 team. But what we've got is a world-class system. And when you've got a system, effectively, the players that come in fit the system. They don't have to cost 50, 60, 80 million, 100 million pounds. They just have to carry out a function that the manager has, within his system, to make that system effective. And this is where we have really turned the tables. It is in our system. It is in the manager, the system that he's created, how we press to win the ball, what we do in possession, the movement on and off the ball, the interchanging, the fluid player positioning in the final third, all of this that he's incorporated, like Martinelli and Saka and these guys, they're reaching that level where they can hit their prime, but they are listening. They're absorbing what Arteta is telling them to do, and they're able to execute on a plan and to make the team effective. What I've seen in Arsenal's recruitment before last summer and Chelsea's recruitment and Man United is, we look at recruitment from the perspective of, does the player have quality? Before that, that's all that mattered. The player's got quality, they'll come in, we'll figure out the rest. We'll ad-lib it. But this isn't how you build consistent and successful teams anymore. It's not like if you can have Cristiano Ronaldo and he can get you 18 goals last season, but that came at the detriment of Martial and Rashford. It made Man United worse. Do you see what I mean? Like, and I think there's a lot of signings that Chelsea have made.
Scott, can I answer?
Paper look like good signings, but it's like how do they fit together? Like what kind of puzzle
I
you
will
trying to
say,
create?
before Kai goes, I'll say just before he goes, I 100% agree with every word you just said. 100% agree.
Right. Go on, Kai. You've been waiting.
Yeah, I don't think anybody disagrees with you. Yeah, but like I echo what Scott says. I think like when you look at our ambition, right? Like where a lot of Chelsea fans want to be, and the players that we have now, and we look where they could be. I don't think even after they improve, they're good enough to kind of meet those expectations. It's not going to make them become better creators. It's not going to make them better goal scorers. They can improve a little bit, but they're in that age where they need to, like that 24, 20, 23, where they're going to 2 or 3 years, not going to make them like into something spectacular. You know what I mean? It's going to improve them a little bit, but it's not going to make them the players that we need in order for us to challenge and be where we want to be. And I just don't think it's fair for us to expect that from them. I don't think a lot of our players are key players for Chelsea Football Club level or where we aspire to be, and it's not fair to ask them to be that. And we then
hype them up to that point.
Yeah, fans hype them up, and then we get upset over them. We bash them on Twitter. They go on private, and that circle continues. It happened with Lukaku. It happened with a lot of players that we have. It's happened with Kai Havertz. It's happened with Mount. All these guys, and I think Chelsea fans grew up on a specific standard, and now we're no longer meeting that standard, and it's just making the fan base into, magically thinking that these players are going to reach those standards because that's what they're used to, and it's not fair for
Mount
the players.
Can be Lampard. We think
exactly.
Can be Drogba.
Look, I think.
Could I just ask you, Chelsea fans, something as well? Yeah, do you not think that the chopping and changing of manager after manager after manager has had detriment to the players that you've brought in? Because one man will buy some players, one man will buy the next player.
I think it's a mix of
the point.
Yes, I think it's a mix of two things: the manager, and we don't have the director of football for it. So we change managers. We don't have the
that's the answer for Kai. I was gonna give Scott. You're looking, Scott, for some kind of consistency of buying players and to players to fit thing. How you can be consistent with the buying players for a specific way if you don't have a manager that plays specific way?
But that's why Scott was blaming the old regime.
I was going to say, it's not the chopping and changing of managers. It's the fact you go from someone like a Conte to a Sarri. That's stupid. That's one system. That's two polar opposites of systems. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
The chopping and changing manager is fine if you go from a Sarri to I'm not like a Potter, say, for example. You go from like one system that's similar to another system that might be ever so slightly different, but the like foundations are the same. The foundations are the same. It's easily transitionable. Yeah,
exactly.
When you're going
I agree with you.
Mourinho, like you're going from someone who wants to play progressive to Mourinho, and then from that to like Conte, and then that from to Sarri. Like that doesn't link.
That's my
None
point.
of that works
it's more,
together.
It's more that problem with Chelsea longevity than actual scouting. If you knew what kind of style we play, please tell me what kind of style Chelsea plays. In the past 10 years,
I know what we're trying to play now.
The only style Chelsea plays.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So you can't have a good recruitment because we are sure, like I always said, Chelsea is poor as Real Madrid. We're not as rich as Real Madrid, but we're acting like we are. We spend big. We fire managers every 2 years, and we win a trophy a couple of times because league is different. Premier League is different, harder to win than La Liga. In La Liga, you can do this kind of shit. In Premier League, you can't. You have to have some kind of sustainability. And I do blame that on the previous regime, firing managers, the ones that and hire different kind of caliber of a manager. It's more for me important that we did wrong versus what scouting. Because
Lee, big up my
even though
links in the description to his channel as well. Big up my guy.
Love it. Listen, I'm gonna say Arsenal win. I think I said 2-1, but I'm gonna go 3-1 because the Chelsea.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Making me win. So listen, big up to everyone, man. Big up.
Big up, my G. Come on, the boys. Let's have it.
But like we're responding to that, like I don't think the club should buy players for manager. The club should buy players for their own system. They should have a director of football in charge. Look at City. How many managers they changed a lot of managers too. If you think at City didn't have like one manager. They didn't have the Liverpool project. But what they didn't have a music graduate as a director of football like Chelsea had. They had a football man who knew what he was doing, and he was building a City dynasty, manager after manager. They were ready for Pep before Pep came in. Other than a few minor things.
And that's the difference. We haven't had a director of football in ages.
We didn't.
Like, we're only just starting to build that now. So all the issues is all just because of the old regime. Obviously, there was pros, but there was
and people talk about.
You know what's funny?
People talk about City. I'll let you in a second. And what's funny is look how many flops City had. They didn't have as many at Chelsea.
Do you know
most of the attacking players they buy turn out good? Even
I just wanted to add something on to that quickly before Gunnerking goes. On that point, the flops that they do have though don't make a difference to the team. Like Alex mentioned earlier, they've got £100 million flop in Grealish, and it doesn't matter. Like, it literally doesn't matter because the rest of their team is so solid. You know, Ferran Torres was here for like, what, 6 months, a year and a half? Shipped him off because they didn't need him, and it didn't make a difference. Like, their flops aren't a detriment to the team. Our flops just cause problems. Like, if we have a flop, or if, like, you know, like a Liverpool...
I can say good luck to City when Pep leaves, because it's
they're going to be a bit fucked, but, like, they've built a way of working where even if they have flops, if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make
the thing is, on reflection, like seeing Chelsea and United, like in the situation that, if I'm being honest, we were in 2.5 years ago. I think the main thing to reflect on at the time, we were like, there's significant underinvestment in Arteta in the first window, in even the second one, the summer one. Yeah, it was only it was only last summer. And this summer just gone where the investment got significant. And I said this on Carefree Lewis's show, right? I think what was evident about Arsenal's recruitment is it was very poor. Even with Emery, where there were similar sort of things where we were buying players. He apparently wanted Zaha. He got given Pepe.
Hey guys.
On the surface they might look similar. Pepe's much more of a transitional attacking wide player than Zaha is. Like Zaha, has a bit more tools in his box, like physically, that he can use against like rest defenses and low blocks. But there was a lot of inadequacies in how we recruited, and basically, like looking back now, Arteta really kind of rebuilt the backroom first. You saw Richard Garlick coming in. The guy that's kind of tying up our contracts, expert in contract and negotiation law. So he's helping with the transfers as well. In terms of like negotiating with our clubs, tying down our players.
Arteta brought him? Arteta hired that guy?
No, but it was obviously like something that Arteta said we needed to do. He's come in, like from City, and it's like, this is how City organize things. That is why the Kroenkes brought him in, because they're like, look, if he's come from that animal and seen how City kind of set up, things that they do to help themselves, Arteta's definitely pitched in with these ideas, sort of improved our scouting network. We brought a lot of new scouts in, like a lot more that's been done with things like data science, video technology. You see in All or Nothing, the development coach,
new set piece coach as well
that we brought in.
A new set piece coach as well. And you know what? Just to touch on it as well, I agree with what you're saying. I said, with Arteta, and Arsenal. Well, not even Arteta, sorry, Arsenal prior Arteta. We made so many mistakes. We were going for older players, rejects from other clubs, just because we weren't in a good position to attract good players as well. What Arteta has done is, when he's come in, personally, I believe we wouldn't have got Zinchenko and we wouldn't have got Jesus if Arteta wasn't the manager of Arsenal Football Club. But by him bringing them two players in, it has now shown the world of football that we can still attract big players from a winning team. You get me? And I think that's the difference. A lot of the money he has spent, he's had to spend because there were so many fuck-ups, prior to Arteta, and how much dead wood we had in the likes of Mustafi, Kolasinac, all of these, man, and we didn't have no resale value for them because they were washed and absolute dead food. So we did not only have to build a squad that he wanted, we had to pay these guys off to rectify the mistake. And then when he did bring in players, he brought in players that all of us were questioning. Ben White, £50 million. What the fuck's that about? You get me? Tomiyasu, we haven't seen much of him. You know what I mean? But these players, there's clearly been a plan to go out and buy these players to fit his system. And you just got to give man credit, bro, because, I didn't see this coming anyway, man.
I'll give you guys credit when you win something. You still haven't won anything, yeah? So,
well, he's won an FA Cup, hasn't he? So,
I mean a major trophy, man. The Champions League, Premier League.
If you look at Liverpool, how it started, You know how it's ending isn't looking good. But you look at Edwards and the significance of him coming in and working with Klopp. Yeah, it was massive. You know what I mean? Like the transfers that he was pulling off.
That's
Arteta
what I was saying.
he's rebuilt that backroom, and this is where Chelsea are. They need to like fully do that. You know, like
I actually blame because the reports are saying him and Klopp are actually the reason he left.
Premzy, big up.
Button heads
Right,
a
boys.
lot.
Thanks for having me on the show. Peace and
Take
love.
care, man.
Take
Again,
care,
links
man.
in the description, guys. Like and subscribe.
I'll catch you on Tuesday, Lewis.
Defo, my guy. Hopefully, in a good mood.
If you remember how it started with that football director, he did not want any of that signings that Klopp wanted. He stopped them because Klopp wanted different players. He brought money. Salah, he brought money. Klopp did not want Salah in the first place. Klopp wanted for the different kind of caliber of players, and that kind of football director stopped him from doing it. But eventually, the tension was growing, and he left. And all of a sudden, they short in the massive departments because they do not have the same caliber of the signings. And now you see the signings that actual club wants on display. Whatever the guy's name, the forward. He's still quality player, but he doesn't fit the way they play. That's what football director can do actually. If one difference between Arsenal and Chelsea, I do think we still have a better, more ambitious owner, even if as Bowley. He's way more ambitious than what's his name? Oh, what a goal! More ambitious than your owner. The 100% he's more ambitious. And he has a lot of shit of money.
I agree. I tell you what, I like what I think Premzy was saying, and like what I've liked about Arteta, and I'm glad that Bowley started doing this actually this summer, is that you guys mentioned like the kind of poor recruitment you had, like the players you brought in. He was more than happy to just get rid of them at any cost. Like you terminated Kolasinac's contract just what was it, like 6 months earlier. I think you did the same with Mustafi. You just terminated his contract. Pepe was sent out on loan for like nothing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like it was like I can't remember who else he got rid of. It was like we don't need you. Go. Like I don't care what it got. Like what it takes.
Bella,
I mean, I like
Aubameyang, Ozil.
Yeah, like it was just get rid. Like terminating Aubameyang's contract just so he can move away. Like not getting a fee. Like, and I liked that about Bowley what he did in the summer, and that was one of the annoyances I had about our previous ownership. Was always trying to squeeze a little bit more about some of these transfers, about some of these players. We're haggling over 5 million for Batshuayi. Like, who cares?
Not as rich as the new owners. All I'm saying. Well,
and it's like that's what I liked about what you guys did. And I like what Bowley's doing now. It's like if something doesn't work, that's fair enough. Like you can hold your hands and say it doesn't work. Don't try and persist with it, or don't try and just like squeeze everything you can out of it. Just reset and go again. Like if it doesn't work, reset, try again. Like you can make that money elsewhere. You can get that money back in from other player sales or from like competition, TV revenue. Yeah, like
Tavares last summer, like I thought he started well. Looked underwhelming in the running at the business end of the season. Loan him out. Send him Marseille. He's rebuilding his reputation there. I watched Marseille play Tottenham the other day, and he was causing them damage on that left hand channel. So you look at now. If we sell him, we bought him for like what 6-8 million, something like that.
Literally about to ask that. You're probably going to make a profit.
We'll make a profit on him. Like might not be a great deal, but at least it's like if it didn't work out, we're not losing money on players anymore. You know what I mean? We're not just hemorrhaging money. Like you said, we're making a decision early and we're moving on.
Yeah, so, and it just means you can then mold the rest of the team in the image you want.
Is there a real Fatura in the chat or no? Is that the real?
Yeah, that's a real Fatura.
So so it's like you're kind of building that team that you can, and if someone doesn't fit, it's like cool, they're gone. Like it's the Pep way of thinking. Can't bring him in. If it doesn't work straight away or it doesn't work within a couple of months, cool, you're gone. Like we'll move to the next person. And that's what I want us to do. Like that's what we weren't doing. It was like, cool. Let's say Lukaku isn't working. Well, we're not going to get rid of him straight away. We'll just keep pushing it in, keep pushing in. Oh, Morata's not working. Keep forcing that in. He's got to work. We spent 50 million on him. He's got to work. Same with Havertz. That's not working. We spent 72 million. He's got to work somehow. And it's like
Lukaku. The old ownership would have kept Lukaku over Tuchel.
I tell you what. If the old ownership was still here, Marcus Alonso would be playing on against Arsenal tomorrow.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
save that for that.
But yeah, but that's the thing. Like, and that's I have. it annoys me to say it, but there are a lot of things about Arsenal that they've done this season that I'm actually quite impressed with. In terms of the way they've gone about things, their recruitment, the way that they're building the team, the areas they're looking to fix. Like, there's still a little bit of a ways to go for your team. Like you mentioned, you want a couple of more bodies in January, but like, it's the fact that you can go and get someone. You had a quality caliber left back in Tierney who was injury prone, and to fix that solution, you went and got a guy who might even be better than him and is causing Tierney now to be benched. Like, if both of them are fit, you'd probably say Tierney's going to be benched of the two. And it's like he was good enough to be a quality, like a starting left back for most teams in the Premier League, and he's now your second option.
Competition, raising the floor of the technical level of the floor in all the areas. Arteta's done that, right way through our defense to our midfield. He only started making significant inroads on the attack in terms of like our number 9 personnel this season. He's still got a bit of work to do there. Is he going to keep Nketiah? Is he going to keep Balogun? Are either of them good enough? If they're not, again, we'll sell them on. We'll move them. We'll move on. If they are great, they'll be there. That's the thing. What you're seeing now is just the fine tuning of. I think the 11's there.
Right, big up.
I think it's just like looking at the squad. You know what I mean? Improving like the squad, so that there's no quality gaps when certain players aren't fit.
That's what I want for this club, to be fair, man. Like, we've got that in some instances. Like, I think we've got that as well at left back in terms of Kukurea and Chilwell. We don't have that at right back. Like, we have that in centre back, I think, now for the most part. Like, we don't have that. I think we can get there with the striker, but then it's like wingers. I don't think we have that personally. Midfield, I don't think we have that. Like, I want what that is. Like, I want what City've got and like what you're aiming towards, where a player comes out, whether that be for rotation or injury, and the guy you plug in is almost at the same level. Even if they're not as good, they're almost at the same level, or they can bring something else to the team that can make them a good player, that can make them a quality option in terms of in the squad. Like, for example, you look at with the City team, like, I would say that like Gundogan's still a quality player. I would not say he's as good as Silva or as De Bruyne, but he still offers something that's that team. Like, he offers something a little bit different, and he's still a quality player. So when he comes in, it still runs smoothly. And yeah, I just want that for my team. Like, I want to be able to have like for now, for example, we've got Reece James out. I don't want to worry. I want to be like, cool, let him rest, and it's no worry. He can be out for as long as he needs. But now we're panicking, and I've seen people trying to work out how they're going to fit Chalobah in at right back, because that's the solution for this team, is to put probably our best centre back on form at the moment at right back.
Anything except Asby on the right by himself. I can't lie. Let me go through a few of these super chats. Olu says Bowley net worth 5.3 bill. Kroenke 12.9 billion.
Olu, you dumb.
That was so unnecessary. Appreciate the super chat, my friend. Mohammed says any Chelsea lineup and score predictions. Personally, I don't want to see Sterling as a wing back or Cucurella in a back three ever again. I can back Cucurella in a back three. I really think people are jumping the gun on him. Sterling wing back though, never again. Although his average position against Brighton, he was
the furthest forward player.
Exactly. So it's like it just looks like that position on paper. In reality, like, I still think Sterling isn't really playing the wing back position. He just hasn't really been good the last few games. But
really? He didn't play the wing back position. Where did he play?
Well, his average position was like
no.
wing.
What I'm saying, like, when he played him in the wing back position, and then saying that, like, oh no, I didn't put him there. Who said that he was a wing back? Did Harry Potter say
like,
it?
Yeah, but how they are positionally on a team sheet. It's not necessarily where they'll positionally play and how they will be instructed to play during a game. Because like the way that Pep sets his team up, for example, is 4-3-3. But if you actually watch him in game, it's like a 3-2-5 or a 2-3-5 or whatever it is.
Yeah, it all just depends on the average position in game. Olu's gone back at Alex saying you have no clue how.
And I'll answer you again. We have a custodian that it's actually not one owner. Ask for the net worth of all the owners.
Fair enough.
Now Google stupid. You'll see your name on it.
This is just unnecessary.
You know, before we wrap up, Bhavss, I saw you popped in a bit late. Is there anything you wanted to talk about going into this game, bro? How you feeling?
No, not much more, to be honest. It's been a pretty calm conversation. I don't want to spice it up too much.
Nice.
But
Nice
yeah,
one,
man,
bro.
looking forward. Nah, man, nah, it's
You
been too
don't sound
calm.
confident, my friend. You don't sound confident.
Confident? I don't need to sound confident, man. It's just a bridge.
Isn't it?
It's just, tomorrow when we're charting Stamford Bridge is falling down, maybe we'll start getting it. But nah, listen, it's all jokes aside, I think.
There's nobody here.
I don't know what to expect from the game, to be honest, man. I think the only part of me that doesn't give me confidence is the fact that we've been so good, right? I'm not that scared by Chelsea themselves. I'm just like, it's been so good. Is it too good to be true to go to Stamford Bridge, beat you guys again, and stay top? That's my only concern. I'm not too fazed by Chelsea themselves. I think your system's too raw, it's too early to come at Arsenal right now, because we're just, we've been so good this season. So yeah, I don't know what to expect, but hopefully Arsenal get a comfortable win, maybe like 2-3-1.
2-3-1. That's your score prediction for today or tomorrow?
Yeah, I say 2-1. I think a bit closer because it's away game, isn't it?
2-1. All right, cool. Gunnerking, what's your score prediction for tomorrow?
Yeah, I went with 3-1 earlier. I'm going to stick by it. Yeah, I don't see, with the injuries that you've got, the weakened parts of your squad from injury with James and Chilwell is where we're strong. Saka and Martinelli. I can't see what you've got to deal with those guys. Yeah, Zinchenko on that side. Even Ben White, when he's overlapping now and getting forward. I was at the Zurich game the other day, and he's getting better going forward as well. So I don't see what you do about that. I don't know what answers you've got. Jesus drifts into either channel as well when he's playing across the line. I don't see what answers your depleted squad has for this at all.
I'm still going to go for my illogical 2-0 Oba double. For absolutely no reason except because it's what I would like to see. Scott, what's your prediction, my friend?
Do I think we're scoring?
For a home team, surely you got to have a bit more confidence. I think you've not lost.
No.
Yeah, games.
2-0 Oba. Let's go.
My confidence comes to the United game, bro. Like, you lot were awful in that game.
Yeah, we were.
The United game. Fair enough.
United,
I'll say not the Brentford game or the Aston Villa game where Kepa saved
those games. I don't watch those games.
I don't know if I see us scoring, I'm going to say 3-1 to Arsenal. I think we might score, but I genuinely don't know if we will.
For 3-1. Oh, great. So no one else predicts a win. Fair enough. Alex, what's your prediction, my friend?
He's waiting for a 2-0 Chelsea now.
I usually don't predict the goal, like the score. I usually fuck off and say 5-0 Jorginho hat-trick on the penalties. But if it's for real, there's only one way I can see the game. If Potter learned for the past 3 games, one way to play, and it has to be, if we play back 3, we lose, even though people saying the more defenders, the better we defend. It's actually a show that we defend better with less defenders. We need 3 midfield. If it was me, I will pack the midfield. I will slow Arsenal game down to the minimum, because they're good by pressing constantly. You gotta keep him compressed in the beginning of a game, especially. So pack the midfield. 3 in the midfield at least. I don't want 3 at the back. And what's his name? If I will do front 3, I probably will do the same way they did it before with Auba not playing in the middle, but after left and Kai Havertz in the middle. Kai Havertz is way too. He's better movement than Auba in the middle, and he can least throw off or try throwing off the center backs. Well know that your left center back is always can cause the penalty. What's his name? Brazilian guy. Gabriel. Put the Sterling over there. So for me, it should be Auba, Kai, and the Sterling off the right, the way we played past. And the middle, it should be either Jorginho, Kova, and I won't put Mount. I actually want Gallagher. Gallagher is more running. If we want it to be physical and stuff, it doesn't really matter. But as long as the 3 midfielders, with Thiago Silva in the back, No. Yeah, Thiago Silva and what's his name? Koulibaly on the left. Yeah, left center back, and what's his name? I want Chalaba on the right. I don't want.
So 3 at the back then, or 4?
But who would you play?
It's gonna be right back.
On the left back position.
Left back is gonna be Cucurella.
Oh yeah.
Cucurella, and the only difference is gonna be if it's a Chalaba or Azpilicueta on the right.
I've said you need to go to a 4 for a long time. I don't think Thiago Silva allows.
No, the funny part is people think that if you have more defenders, you defend better. No, it's not. It really doesn't.
How does City defend? City defend by keeping the ball.
Well, that's not the only way you can defend. You can defend by knowing the position. Yeah, of course, it's the first way. It's grab the ball, but that's the only way we can win. If this is not the way, I don't think we can win. I think it's going to be low scoring. By the way, it's not going to be a smack, and I think it's going to be a goal difference, 1 goal. So you can pick whatever 3-2. But it's going to be 1 goal difference. Chelsea's going to win it.
I would rather that.
Or possible draw. Or possible draw.
It's got a draw over it.
Yeah, that's how we actually use. People go up so much into the build-up game, and you literally neutralize each other's threats for the whole 90 minutes, and the games looks like boring, but it's actually tactical mastermind by both managers. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. Guys, we are going to wrap up. It has been a very, very good preview. Links to everybody are in the description below. Alex and Scott's Twitter's there. Bhavss and Gunnerking's YouTube channels are in there as well, so check it out. Like, subscribe. And if we lose, drop a little bit of banter down their way. If we win, you don't have to do anything. But big up everyone that's locked in. Hit the like button, subscribe. Check out everyone's socials in the description below. We will be back tomorrow for Shameless FC after the Chelsea game. Fucking hope we win. And yeah, we'll see you then.